Kia ora, konnichiwa, namaste, ciao. Welcome to the June Earth Prediction reading. May's reading was poignantly spot on, as they always seem to be. These Psi cards have tuned in really well to Earth's energies and the convoluted issues that are going on around our planet and the people who reside on it for the time being. Now, I've mentioned before that when a card turns up 2 months in a row, the energies of that card seem to become intensified, and last month we had 2 cards that had been repeated viewing, so they'd been in the month before. And I think that's why for May we had incredible bad weather patterns in particular, which is where the way the reading was heading. For June we see a little bit of a lightening in that, but we're still going to be moving forward into this new paradigm of climate change. It's something we all need to grasp and get our heads around, because this is not going to go away. We're not going to wake up one morning and find the patterns of life back to the way they were in the 50s or 40s, with the earth relatively stable and people's lives stable in the same cultures and belief systems that they had been for quite some time. We're into the age of Aquarius, or we're moving into that. And with that change of belief comes a change for our planet as well. So I've mentioned this several times. I believe what we have to do in moving forward is learn to find solutions how to live with the changes that are coming. We have to make conscious changes, physical changes, emotional changes and spiritual, all in moving forward. Otherwise we will see larger decimation on the planet of all forms. So the first card for the reading is the libido card. This is another powerful energy card. It's all about that sudden surge of strong energies. I call it the mass compassion event card. Now these can be positive compassion events, such as large sporting events or big parades or fun events that can be really huge around different countries, or they can be negative mass compassion events such as mass murders or mass deaths, big events that pull your heartstrings and make people think about something in a compassion driven way. It's also the card of powerful weather and earth events, so this can be especially weather related. Again, rainfall, we see this water fast moving, pouring down the hill. It has a similar energy to the union card, and that's the mudslides, the rain, torrential heavy flooding, surging, rushing water, bursting banks of rivers, tidal implications, especially up through hills and mountains where you get slips down mountainsides, mud and rocks and things like that. So this is looking forward into June, and these are more of these energies that we're going to get. Again, I keep coming back to climate change. We're basically going to start seeing the 100-year floods every other month, every other week. It's just progressively speeding up. The other thing this card gives us is animal energy. So we might find mass die-offs again around the planet, animal issues that will come to the fore one way or another. Now the second card is the birth card. I'm pretty much always drawn to the sky in the background with this, and it looks like a wet, tropical, humid, heavy rain event. And I often think of this down the bottom as new crops. So that's in the crop growing areas globally, or where the new crops are planted. Sometimes we can see mass loss of crops in this card, and also the movement of ground, so eruption, possibly volcanic eruption coming, could be a big one, and also earthquake movement, because that ground is moving, and again we've got water in it. So we've got 2 cards in a row designating water events yet again. You know, my 2014 prediction, I start at the very beginning saying 2014 is a watery year. We're surrounded by it, so lots of our events are to do with water this year. The next card, the Tower. This card often to me gives the energies of buildings and flooding again, because the building is up high. So I think to myself, gosh, there's going to be buildings that when they're not up high, they're caught out a little bit. Now we can think right now through the Serbia and the Bosnia floods, which have been the worst in over 100 years. And I'm making this video right now as that energy is around. So I think we're picking up that type of energy. There could be some more coming through for June. Heavy rain again in the background. And the other thing about this is shaking and quaking. And it can be through that older part of the world, such as the Europe and the Middle Eastern areas, because that's a very old castle. It denotes the older parts of our globe. But it does also denote buildings shaking. So June might be a month where we get quite a lot of shakes. We may get a slight increase in the size of shaking for June because of that. The next card that came through is the Friendship card. This is a lighter energy card, I often feel. Sometimes I think of sporting issues and drugs. So maybe there'll be more, you know, the falseness that we've been all having to work around through sporting issues. That could come to the surface again and continue to come in June. We've just seen the world cricket being put onto the global stage due to fixing issues. That's not finished yet. There's going to be a lot more come out of that. And cricket's not the only sport. I believe a lot of sports are into the lying conundrum or paradigm. There's a lot of hidden stuff that goes on behind sports. You know, we saw it with the Lance Armstrong issue. The thing about the Friendship card is it's quite often about talks, so coming together for some form of communication, whether it be countries or parliaments that join together for some talks at a slightly better level than have been previously. So it's forging some sort of moving forward agreements or peace talks or listening to each other. It's not necessarily going to solve everything, but I think there could be a slight moving forward somewhere for some of the countries that are really not working well together at the moment. Let's hope that's a good move for June. The next card that arrived is the Voyage card. The Voyage card has so many messages. I don't know where to start. We look at the sun up here, so I think of solar activity. Again, you know, we talk planet lineups, increased CMEs, strange solar activity. The sun is supposedly about to do a pole flip. Maybe it does finish that in June. We can see maybe heat waves across the globe. When we often have that increased solar activity, we can get effects down here on Earth. We can get increased cyclonic or big storms. We can get earthquakes, volcanic activity. We can get increased aurora activity around the globe. So there's a whole parcel of things there. It also relates to ships and our oceans, our seabeds, and the movement of our seas around the planet. So this can be sea-related quakes or volcanic activity under the sea. Travel. It can pertain to that. It can also be, as I've said before, quakes up through the Middle Eastern, European, older parts of the globe. So definitely we're getting a few messages of quakes coming in for June and sea-related energies. And it can sometimes be the card, as I said, for sea movement, so possibly tsunami-related issues. The sea moving into land, not necessarily tsunami, but like tidal surges again. And the next card that arrived is the Home card. This one was here in the last reading, so it seems to be wanting to amplify its messages again. It did come at the very end of the reading, But I've talked about the home card as resonating with New Zealand or areas close to and around to New Zealand, such as Australia or the Pacific Islands up through Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, Rarotonga, Niue, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, and up even through to around the Philippines. It's also the card of shaking buildings, you know, houses being rocked and moved, and fires, because we have a fire here. So we've got a lot of messages for June. It's quite a busy month. Card. This card often denotes issues to do with large vessels such as ships, boats, trains, planes, information like that around buses, around vehicles that move people or ferry them around, groups of people. Sometimes the other thing that the work card can denote are issues around work or employment or companies. Now these can be accidents around work, so big accidents in and around employment places, companies that go through some sort of strife, whether it be financial related or hidden agendas coming to the surface. It can also be to do with time matters, because this is or appears to be a mechanical device, which you could think of as the workings of a clock as well. So quite a lot of busy energies there in June, plenty to look at, but that's the way of life at the moment. It's not going to, as I say, go back to becoming slower and more easy again. We're moving into that change phase. So anyhow guys, thank you for watching the Earth Prediction series. I enjoy doing them and I enjoy hearing your comments and feedback. I wish you all a very happy, safe, prosperous June ahead. Take care everyone. Much aroha, kia kaha, peace.